Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Campeche in Mexico. Campeche State is located on the Yucatan Peninsula, very distinct part of Mexico. If you can imagine its shape, I know I'm super zoomed in. It kind of curves around the Gulf of Mexico and sticks up a bit. That bit is the Yucatan Peninsula. It's along like I said, the Gulf of Mexico. You can see the Bahia de Campeche Bay right here. And you can see the city of Campeche here along the coast. Now, geographically, along the coast, it's relatively flat plains with some farmland here and there. You can see the lake here. I didn't write down its name. Terminos. It's where the rivers end. Big lake there. It gets swampier down there. But all throughout the rest of it here is part of the region known as the Petén, especially down here in Guatemala, which it borders. This is the Petén, which is a thick, jungly forest with some secrets in it. You can see one of them right here, Calakmul, which was one of the largest Mayan cities once upon a time, which is a UNESCO site along with the city of Campeche. So let's read about it. Grab this and let you see. Of course, it flipped upside down right when I grabbed it. The historic fortified town of Campeche. Short little description here. There we go. I can't really see my viewfinder right now, so I hope you can see it. It says, Campeche is a typical example of a harbor town from the Spanish colonial period in the New World. The historic center has kept its outer walls and system of fortifications designed to defend this Caribbean port against attacks from the sea. You know, if you saw yesterday's video, you know what's happening. I preloaded all of this. I loaded all the pictures to make sure it would go, and it's not again. That's aggravating. But we're going to look at it on Google Earth anyway, so it's not a huge loss. But then we'll read about the ancient Maya city and protected tropical forest of Calakmul, Campeche. Make sure that can see this perfect. The site is located in the central southern portion of the Yucatan Peninsula in southern Mexico and includes the remains of the important Maya city Calakmul, set deep in the tropical forest of the Tierras Bajas. The city played a key role in the history of this region for more than 12 centuries and is characterized by well-preserved structures, providing a vivid picture of life in an ancient Maya capital. The property also falls within the Mesoamerica Biodiversity Hotspot, the third largest in the world, encompassing all subtropical and tropical ecosystems from central Mexico to the Panama Canal. I bet these pictures won't load either. Yeah, look at this. It's just straight up crashed. Poor tablet. All right. We'll let you go and figure yourself out. I'm sure by Google Earth it'll work just fine. Fingers crossed. So, actually, before we get into history, there's one more geographic thing I want to mention, which is special to just the Yucatan, which is the cenotes. Cenotes are essentially sinkholes here in the forest, where underground rivers and lakes eroded the land above it, and they sank to fall into this beautiful magical pool of water. They were very revered by the Mayans. They were little holy sites, and like I said, you can only really find places like that in the Yucatan Peninsula. which is pretty neat. I saw some on Google Earth, but there were no pictures of them, so I'll just point them out. They are deep in the forest, so I'm not surprised there's no pictures of them. But cenotes are pretty neat. So yeah, now let's get into history. As the Yucatan and this area has been inhabited for over 7,000 years. Of course, the most famous inhabitants were the Maya. The golden age of the Maya lasted between 250 and 900 CE approximately, building massive cities, a huge, beautiful culture, massive population, very scientifically advanced for what's available, for that time in the world. Pretty good. Mayan calendar and all of that. And we don't know what caused the Mayan collapse. It could have been a number of things that led to the decline of the empire, the civilization here, but it still existed after that and still exists today. There's still many Mayan people that live all throughout this area, including in Campeche state. In 1263, the Mayapan League was founded here in the Yucatan, a way to combine all of the scattered Mayan communities into one and to establish a peace, which did exist for quite a while until it didn't. In 1441, it broke out into civil war. By 1461, the groups had splintered into 16 different states. The most important one being here along the coast, known as Campeche, which apparently translates to land of serpents and ticks, which sounds very unpleasant. Serpents is one thing, but ticks, I hate ticks. No, thank you. The Spanish arrived in this area in the year 1517. They were promptly booted out by the peoples here. The conquest of the Yucatan by the Spanish began in 1526. It was pretty much successful by the 1540s. In the year 1540, Spain established the town here over Campeche and called it, how they pronounced it, Campeche. Close enough, I suppose. Campeche became a major port for the Spanish, shipping things in and out of what is today Mexico, which made it a huge target for pirates. There were quite a few pirate attacks throughout the 1600s, but the largest and most devastating was in 1663, where pretty much the entire town was destroyed. They rebuilt the city and built big walls around it to defend it, which we read about on UNESCO. Most of the walls are still standing today, so we'll take a look at them on Google Earth in a bit. So, of course, Mexico gained its independence from Spain in the 1820s, by 1820, I believe. But trouble was brewing here in the Yucatan. By 1839, the entire peninsula decided they no longer wanted to be part of Mexico and tried to break away to form their own country here. They tried for about 10 years or so until they gave up and allowed themselves to become part of Mexico. But there was a bitter rivalry between Campeche and the city Mérida. From what I understand, it was two different political climates and ideals. I'm sure one left, one right, like we'd say today. They clashed constantly, and I'm not sure that if the Yucatan did become fully independent, it would have lasted that long if there was that much tension, as there was a lot of back and forth fighting between these two towns throughout the 1800s, but I think they would eventually figure themselves out. And splitting the area, I'm sure, helped, right? 1863 is when Campeche state was officially formed within Mexico. The only other info I found pertains to out here in the bay. You can see these little oily towers, drills, I'm not sure, with Mayan names. That's pretty neat. The oil was discovered out here in the 1970s. An oil industry began, but apparently ran into some issues because it would be like, we could mine out all this oil, but if we do, it would like destroy the entire ecosystem. So it's not as profitable as it could be, but that's, I think a good thing, to be honest. It's more important to preserve this area than to exploit it, I think. But that's pretty much the history of the state, from what I can tell. Definitely a quieter part of Mexico, and definitely taking advantage of the tourist industry. There are many Mayan cities. You can see a couple. Edsna, I think that one's pronounced, is a big one. I think this is Haina along the coast. Take a look at those. But there are so many. I had a great time on Google Earth just scrolling around and just finding all kinds of Mayan ruins. Just everywhere I looked, it was so cool. And as I'm doing it, I'm like, I bet you none of these will load when I hit record on the camera. I bet you. So I think we should find out, don't you? Let's see what we can find in Campeche, Estado Campeche, on Google Earth. Here we are in Campeche State. But let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. You can see what I mean talking about the distinct Yucatan. So here's beautiful Mexico, and there is the Yucatan Peninsula sticking out into this name that's on my Google, and bordering the Caribbean as well on that side, but we're not talking about that side of the peninsula today. You can see Guatemala just to the south there, with like more famous Mayan ruins down in Guatemala in the Petén. Calakmul did have a rivalry with Tikal. Even back then, I guess it still kind of does today. There's Tikal. But we're going to start over in the city of Campeche. We're hoping that Google Earth is going to cooperate with me today. Here's the Malecón, the beautiful seaside. And we wait for it to load. There we go. There we go. The beautiful seaside here along the Gulf of Mexico. Campeche. It's a pretty sign. Ooh, there's a storm way out there at sea. It looks like maybe a hurricane. You can see some pirates. Pretty water show. I love water shows. And lots of monuments along here commemorating the various events that occurred on this shore. Here is the City Museum, Museo de la Ciudad. And we wait patiently for it to load, nice and calm. Patiently. Whenever I'd work with little kids, I'd say, let's practice our patience. We practice our patience. We practice our patience. Practicing our patience. Come on now. I'm gonna have to get a Wi-Fi extender in here. That's just all there is to it. Let's try to load this museum. Arqueológica Subacuática Fuerte de San Jose. That's not, oh, that's very, okay, alright, there we go. Much better. You can see some of the old fort there. Some of the old defensive walls. And some aquatic stuff. And a saber-toothed tiger skull. And whatever that is. Looks like a greyhound, I guess. But yeah. Ooh, it's a diagram of a scary cave. Lots of neat relics. There's some of the old defensive fortifications there. But if we zoom in, we can see some of the walls, maybe? Some of the fort there. Let's see if this is loading. Bum-bum. And I'd really like for you to load, please. That would be really great if you loaded, please. That would be wonderful. beautiful. How about this Puerta de Tierra? Here we go. And any more? Well, okay, we'll look at this old wall. Part of the wall that's still standing today. You see some old cannons and things around it too. Oh, all right. We're loaded. Locked and loaded. Guess you can walk around on top of it too. That's pretty neat. Cool old entrance. They light it up all neat too. There's an old map. You can see where the wall once was. Around the city. There's a cannon ready to go. Ready to go to defend the city from these nasty pirates. Look at all this pirate bounty. Very cool. How about one more try? City Museum. One more try. One more. Oh, you know what? It's kind of going. We can see part of the wall there. Just that first picture wasn't loading, but the rest was. Some of the old, that's an unfortunate man right there, all tied up, all chained up. But yeah, old map of the city, I think that looks like an old prison. That guy's unfortunate too. Cool suit of armor, and wow, all kinds of little doodads. Looks like little pirates. And there's a game of Pirates of the Caribbean. Is this all Pirates of the Caribbean stuff? Wait. Crazy if true. All like the franchise movie Pirates of the Caribbean. Wild if true. Alright. Well, we did practice our patience, didn't we? That's pretty much what I wanted to show you here in Campeche. Let's head out to the forest here. There are a couple little neat things to see down here. This town's pretty cool. Ciudad del Carmen on this little peninsula. But nothing like I desperately have to show you. But if you want to poke around for yourself, I highly recommend it. So you can definitely see where the farmland ends and the jungle begins down here. Out here in these zones. Most of these don't have pictures because it's not like you can like hike in these jungly forests. They are pretty impenetrable. I know a lot of Mayan sites have been found through like scanning the ground with radar from above. But let's find some sites. It's not. Probably gonna have to tap it to load it. And wait very patiently for it to work. Also, I preloaded all of these too and did not help me at all, apparently. You know, you don't need to load the museum anymore. I want you to load this place now, please. Try your hardest. You can do it. You can do it, I promise you. It's thinking very hard. You know what? I have an idea. I don't know why I didn't think of this. Let me turn on my hotspot on my phone and connect the tablet to that. I bet you that'll work, but I have to pause to do all that. So, 1 second. I think it worked. I loaded Hayden, which I don't think has any pictures, so that doesn't quite work, but I loaded this area, and it's going quite well. So, look at that. Beautiful. This kind of swampy, mangrovey coast, where there are some Mayan ruins. Looks like a little pyramid right there. Lots of observation towers and walkways, so you can see out over the swampy coast here. Looks like some cool cyclers as well. Very neat. Look at that swamp, my goodness. Alright, now let's try to load. It's not. Down here. And boom, look at that. What a beautiful pyramid. Stunning, stunning. Why have I never heard of this area? It looks just as beautiful as Tikal or Calakmul. That's incredible how much has been excavated. And these little sites are all over the state. We're going to find them much easier now that I've been connected to my hotspot. Excellent. Let's wait. I want to see what that is. Cerro de Bruja? Cerro de la Bruja? Is that? Oh, yeah, look at that. More Mayan stuff, I suppose. Wow, wow, wow. Whoa, look at that cool face. Where's my pencil? I can trace it out. Amazing stuff here. So incredible that it's so well preserved for being swallowed up by the jungle for so long. For hundreds and hundreds of years. It looks great. I'm sure it looked much better back then, right? But let's go look at Calakmul. Let's go see the big event. Calakmul. And see, look, there's a cenote. There's no pictures there. And then there's one up there, a cenote. And you, oops. You can kind of see it from above. Look at that. Oh yeah, you can totally see it from above. Never mind, we don't need no slideshow. We can see the cenote. A big sinkhole, which is over an underground river or lake, making this huge lake, essentially. Pretty neat. Okay, let's look at Calakmul now. The main event. Oh, we're flying now. All right. Calakmul. Huge, huge pyramid. Definitely rivals Tikal, the most famous Mayan city. This was the capital of one of the main kingdoms within the Mayan Empire. And lots of tombs here. Lots of incredible sights to see all around. And a UNESCO site. Deep here in the jungle, isn't that amazing? But yeah, let's go find some more. So what I've been doing is just zooming in on a random spot and just waiting for them to pop up. Look at these. Look at these. Natskan. I'm sure these are all pronounced a certain way in Nahuatl. It's one of those languages like Malagasy that how it's spelled out, pronounced in English, is not at all how it's actually pronounced. But also, the Mayans had a wide variety of languages. It wasn't just one Nahuatl language. They had a bunch of different dialects and languages. I don't even know if these words are Nahuatl. But yeah, look at this amazing temple area by the looks of it. Incredible rock carvings. So neat. Ooh, there's a huge bug. But yeah, I've just been... Wow, that's amazing. Wow. That looks like something if you went to like a Mayan-themed attraction park, water park, theme park, that they would like just make up. It looks incredible. That's amazing. Look at that pyramid. That's crazy. What was I saying? Yeah, I've just been going around randomly and just finding all of these Mayan ruins. Let's look at this one. See, I think it's LiDAR they use. Oh, this temple has seen some bad times. This one is completely collapsed. That's so unfortunate. LiDAR, I think, is what they use to scan the jungles to try to find ruins, because you can't just go here. You can't just walk around and hope you find something. Some scary cave. There's a cenote as well. Thankfully, there's no pictures of the scary cave. But there are pictures at this cenote. Look, you can zip line over it. How cool. I mean, I wouldn't, but you can. I'll pass on that. A little cenote you can take a boat out on. That's amazing. That's pretty great. I hope I'm still in the state, because I haven't seen this before. Did I leave the area? Nope, I'm good. I'm very good. Wow, that didn't pop up when I was randomly roaming around. Let's find more Mayan stuff. There's another cenote. Hikotea. And it's got pictures too. Look how pretty. So cool. They're all over the place in the Yucatan. Of course, the Yucatan's also famous for the Chicxulub event that killed all the dinosaurs. It would have crashed around here. If you've never Googled Chicxulub, you should do it. There's a surprise. I won't spoil it. Let's find some more Mayan stuff. It's a cenote. What is this? What is this? A little farm. What are these? Little green friends. I don't know what those are. Looks like some kind of vegetable. Yalok sounds pretty promising. Oh, no pictures. Yeah, usually the towns that have super Mayan-y sounding names have some good stuff nearby in terms of ruins and pyramids and such. Let's find some more. Out here in the farmland, they're going to be a bit more sparse, but I found a couple. We just gotta look. Let's see this one. It's ecotourist, but nope, it's just ecotourist. Good swimming though, by the looks of it. Let's head over here and see what we can find. Loud car driving by. Hopefully you can't hear that dog barking. Let's see. See, now I knew this would happen. I knew that I would randomly not be able to find any ruins when I had found so many before. I found like a whole bunch. And now none. How did I know? Wow, look at all this farmland here. Holy moly. That's a lot. That's a lot. This looks promising. Maya Tekun 1. Why would you call your town 1 and 2? What? Interesting. But anyway, I think we have found the solution to my Google Earth loading problems. Problem solved. Wish I had solved it sooner. I wish more Mayan ruins would load. I'm telling you, I found like 20. I found a whole bunch. Can't go too far. Oh, we're good. Let's look over here in the swamps. Look how swampy it is. Let's look at this cove. Atasta Cove. Has no pictures. How about this one? Also no pictures. You're not helping me. We finally got this working. And it's not working. I can't find all the cool stuff that I had found before. We're in Tabasco. We don't want to be in Tabasco today. Let's go back to the jungles out here. There's Calakmul. What's that? We don't know. What's this? Dos Lagunas. No pictures. Goodness. Okay, this looks promising. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Hey, look. I found some. Whew. Hopefully we're still in Campeche. Yep, Campeche. Excellent. So let's end it here so we're not aimlessly wandering around the jungles forever. Look at that. Sadly, it's missing its top, but that's incredible. That is beautiful. Oh, it's too bad the whole thing isn't preserved. It has crumpled, but it looks great. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this style of content, please consider subscribing. We're hopping over to Vietnam next. Vietnam's always fun. You guys really like the Vietnam videos too. It's like one of my more popular countries. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. It's an area that's just a city as well. That makes it much easier to research. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. Do you think we could find some more? Wait, imagine if we were. It's just there's another clock mole up here. That's weird. What's this one? No pictures. You're killing me. I hope you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good